Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Different Opinion. Boy, do I ever have a freaking cool video for you today. I've got a few little things, different videos from different sites and things like that to show you the New Zealand protest. They push all these things, and in New Zealand, they're still pushing all these things where they don't give people their freedoms. The cost of living in New Zealand is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Australia is really high, but where I lived in New Zealand, in North Shore, in Auckland, it was ridiculous. Like, I mean, houses went up probably within 3 to 4 years. It went up from, let's say the house is $400,000. And this is not in the city, right? This is quite far away from Auckland City. This is probably like a half an hour drive, 25-minute drive. So, and that's with no traffic. So with this, the houses went from about 400 grand to 800 grand, like that. Just pretty much in a couple of years, it changed, and it was insane. And people couldn't afford houses anymore, right? More and more I see the houses that my friends are buying in New Zealand that we would pay here in Australia for probably 400,000, if that. They're paying like 700, 800,000. And some are even just townhouses, and they're paying that much. And it's not in the center of the city, and it's not even close to the city. It's still a long drive away, and then you factor in traffic, and you're driving over an hour at least. So let's jump straight into this. It's very good to see that people are standing up against the government. And I mean, New Zealand is always rated as pretty much the most peaceful country in the world when it comes to, policies and things like that. But before we jump in, please subscribe to the channel if you want to support it. We're a quarter of the way to 1,000 subscribers, which is massive. And obviously I'll be able to point out things like this because I will show you what the mainstream media posts about this, and it's nothing good. They're calling them right-wing, anti-vaxxers, all this stuff, and people, all they want is the government to be held accountable for making the cost of living unachievable. So that dream, the New Zealand dream over there, where you just want to own a house, live a peaceful life, you can't anymore because the cost of living is just through the roof. It is absolutely ridiculous. For 1 liter of fuel, I believe it is still around $3, if not more. Let's just have a quick look at this, all right? So we show prices for New Zealand from 9th of May to the 15th of August. The average value for New Zealand during the period was $3.11. So $3.11 per litre. So that's $10 a gallon if you're from America. $2.77 a litre. And this is from the 15th. Here in Australia, we're paying about $1.60 at the moment. So that's, what, $1.70 New Zealand, $1.80 New Zealand. It's freaking insane. This is how much it dropped to. So in July, it was at $3.30. That's insanity, man. For what? But that is just ridiculous, right? Oh, I digress. Let's jump straight into this. So thousands of New Zealanders have arrived at Lambden Quay in Wellington and will march to Parliament in the latest in a wave of anti-government protests to take place in the country. So it's not anti-vaccine, not anti-anything. It's just anti-government, right? They're sick of the government telling them what to do. And frankly, the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, she doesn't care. She doesn't talk to people. She goes around, does little photo shoots, makes herself, try and look good, like she cares about the people. But New Zealand homelessness is through the roof. People got to live in their cars. Families in Auckland, left, right, and centre can't afford a normal house because it's too expensive. They're living out of cars. Not even many caravans are affordable over there. And it's just, yeah. I just hear more and more of people having to live off the street. Or, let's say a family does get a place, they got to live in a studio, which is one room, one big room. And this is for about a family of 7 people because they can't afford anything else. Let's have it just a quick to show you this, right? So about 1% of New Zealanders are homeless. So 1 out of 100 people, for example, on your Facebook friend list, on your Instagram followers, is homeless. That's insane. It is the highest rate among the 35 high-income countries in the OECD, Organised for Economic Cooperation and Development. The recent housing crisis has contributed to the high rate of New Zealanders in New Zealand. The price of renting or buying a home in New Zealand has been on the rise in recent years. For instance, the country's largest city, Auckland, housing prices climbed 90% from 2008 to 2018. In January 2020, International Housing Affordability Survey examined 8 housing markets in New Zealand and ranked them all as severely unaffordable. Thank you. So this is literally what I'm trying to say is, while I was there, I just seen it going the wrong way, and you just knew you would not be able to afford a house unless if you earned a very, very big wage. Whereas in Australia, at least you can go have a normal job and you can still afford a house. Not New Zealand. Not New Zealand. So, Ardern recently told reporters at a press conference that she would not engage with protesters and said that Parliament security had bolstered defences at the site. Roads have been closed, concrete blocks moved in, and temporary fencing installed around the Beehive building. And this is the dumb thing, right, is that people keep voting this woman in, right? We all knew what would happen, and people still voted her in. I mean, you, like I keep saying in many of my other videos as well, is what you vote for is what you get. Rebel News reporter Avi Yamini was sensationally denied entry to New Zealand on Monday after an immigration official in Wellington refused to allow him into the country. Independent Australia reporter. So I'll jump straight into this here. This is from Rebel News Crew. So, breaking: Rukshan Fernando arrives in New Zealand after his passport was flagged trying to board a Qantas flight to Melbourne. The remaining Rebel team will be on the ground in Wellington to bring the other side of the story from today's protest. So he actually got flagged for no reason, but he was finally allowed in. So this is from Avi Yamini. This was from 10 hours ago. This is the protest in New Zealand. Actually, I'll jump straight into a couple of videos from Rial Rukshan. So this is in here. A very peaceful looking protest, for sure. Getting their speakers up, there's security around. No one's even close. So that's that building over there, sorry, on the left here. We call it the Beehive. It is like the government building in Wellington, New Zealand, which is the capital. Don't know why, but it is. And yeah, not even anyone close to it, right? Let's jump into this one. Walking through the streets.
Will go on. If I put the web link here,
a good turnout, very good turnout, right? So, imagine if you're Jacinda Ardern, she keeps thinking she's got all the support, and people protest wherever she goes in the country. That's how much they dislike it, this woman.
Let's go! Now on that whole journey, we had thousands and thousands of freedom fighters on the side of the road who were waving their flag, and then they joined us.
This is the thing that annoys me, right, is the people that are protesting are the ones that are middle class, or under that. It's because they can't afford to live a good life. You just can't. And the only people that support them are probably either retired or, you know, are pretty well off. That is all I've heard, is that people are sick of it. And I mean, I left like in 2016, and that was even already unaffordable. Luckily, I called it. I left at the right time. So this is also more. So nzreports.com if you want to jump on and have a look. So just peaceful protesting happening. We'll jump into this. So Rebel News reporter Avi Yamini, this is him here, has been denied entry to New Zealand to report an anti-government protest in Wellington. It follows a targeted campaign by the New Zealand media to paint Yamini as an experienced journalist as a far-right conspiracy commentator, with officials citing the fabricated media report as evidence to deny his entry. So I'll jump into, a journalist actually asked us, so let's jump into it.
There's also been a YouTuber from Australia that says that they've been denied entry into New Zealand. Have you been briefed on the situation?
I've only, what I have seen in the public.
All she asked was just, you know, has she been briefed about Avi Yamini being denied access?
Public domain. And just to be absolutely clear, this is not something that, as I understand, would come to up to a ministerial level decision. I understand that it is solely for immigration, and it's not something I had any awareness of until I saw some commentary online. Yeah.
So isn't it funny how she says this, right?
Up to a ministerial level decision. I understand that it is solely for immigration, and it's not something I had any awareness of until I saw some commentary online.
Oh, it's just some commentary online. Obviously, she was told about this, trying to act like she didn't even know about it. That is, so this is straight from Avi Yamini 9 hours ago. As a journalist, did you follow up the obvious? How does a historic conviction that only attracted a fine stop an Aussie from entering when the act clearly states he would have had to have been jailed for a minimum of 12 months? So, Breaking Immigration NZ has confirmed it denied Aviamini entry. However, the organisation says it was due to the past criminal conviction, with no mention of his intention to report on anti-government protest. So he was not jailed for a minimum of 12 years, so he technically can't actually be done under the Act, right? So just to show you what the mainstream media is painting this protest as, have a look. From London Evening, anti-mandate protesters descend on New Zealand Parliament. Daily Mail, radical protesters hold a people court outside New Zealand Parliament and stage a mock trial against Jacinda Ardern's government for crimes against humanity. From First Post, why New Zealand anti-vax protesters have gathered outside Parliament. This is why people hate the mainstream media, the legacy media, because of reasons like this, where they paint everyone that's standing up for something they believe in as stupid people who don't know what they're protesting. They always just throw them straight away into either far right or anti-vax protesters, anti-vaccine, anti-this, anti-mandate, which is just absolutely ridiculous. There's my friends in New Zealand now that live in Auckland, and they said in certain parts, when you walk into, let's say, a supermarket, there's literally everyone's wearing masks still. Everyone's still wearing masks. They say that they're pretty much one of the only people that are not wearing masks. As you can see here, in front of the New Zealand Parliament gate, massive concrete blocks. This is also from New Zealand's government website, health.government.nz. This was updated on the 16th of August. Temporary removal of a face mask. There are times when you may need to remove your face mask temporarily. Remember to clean your hands before removing your mask and putting it back on. Store it in a safe place while you are not using it. In situations where wearing a mask is a legal requirement, you can remove your mask for short periods of time for the following reasons: when eating, drinking, or taking medication. Why is taking medication only one of the only reasons, right? If you are someone who relies on New Zealand Sign Language and are reading people's facial expressions, including lip reading, or need to communicate with someone who does. If wearing a face mask or face covering in the workplace would create a risk for your health and safety as determined through health and safety guidelines, let us decide when you can remove it. In indoor environments where the mask or face mask covering is likely to get wet, as requested by medical or oral health professionals, in any situation where wearing a mask or face mask covering may provide choking hazards such as changing clothes. Oh my lord. And then this is from a protester from Dame Jane. Quite remarkable to think there are Kiwis who don't value freedom. Freedom to infect others, ? Freedom, right? You get it? Vaccinations and masks save lives. Look at this. Some old ass damn lady with a dumbass mask on. Oh my lord, man. If you're that scared, right, go inside, right? That's what I don't understand. People that are so scared of getting infected, they still go out to shops. They still go do their daily things. Instead of ordering their food online and getting it delivered, you know, COVID safe, right? But yes, just wanted to show you a few of these things. Ridiculous cost of living. This is why people are protesting. Good on New Zealand. Good on people there. I wish I was there. Still in New Zealand, I would have been able to go and protest as well. But yes, I just wanted to show you the massive, massive hypocrisy of people, the news. I get more and more disappointed, right? Even though I'm already disappointed and do not trust the mainstream media at all, you still keep being even surprised how ridiculous they are, how they just paint a certain picture, right? I stand up for journalism, oh my lord. Real journalism is what needs to be stood up for, not this fake media, in my opinion. But I digress. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Do you support New Zealand with this protest? I mean, it's happening across the whole world, right? People are getting sick of the damn governments, politicians that just keep making money and not doing anything for their voters. I mean, we voted these people in for a reason, to do a job, and they do the opposite. So people need to stand up, right? But anyway, please subscribe if you do want to support the channel. Just below the video there, we can reach the 1,000 mark sooner than we can hope for, so we can keep seeing these stories and more people can see it as well. And also, like I said, like the videos that you like and dislike the videos you dislike. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.